That's fine.
Is it live?
Yeah, it's live.
All right. Yeah, I gotta refresh my.
All right. Well, while Kirby's gone, guys, so this topic, Joanna actually brought it up. So I hope she has questions for this topic. But to my understanding, the topic she wanted to speak about today is about youth and alternative ways the youth can be successful when coming out of high school rather than the traditional way of going into college and getting a degree, finding a good job, and working your way up the ladder, things of that sort. And I mean, being that I just graduated in 2016, I think that I can speak on this. So, um, and if we get any other, young people joining, feel free to ask questions too, or if you guys are parents, ask questions. But I think if I just were to begin this off of how I started off, I think the first question kids should be asking is not so much what they want to be when they come out of high school, or what career, because um, I think that can lead kids to get really confused on life, because you're in high school, you don't know anything, and you don't know anything about finances. They're not teaching you in school, and so for you to be told, hey, start to think now about what you want to study in college. I remember being like, I have no idea. Like, I mean, there was really like, I had thoughts of engineering, thoughts of um, being a psychologist. Believe that one, Kirby. Yeah, yeah. Being a psychologist, engineering, but like doctor, lawyer. The ones that are valid, and engineering is valid, but those never like seemed to interest me. So I was just like thinking, okay, what am I actually going to do? And I had heard the term net worth at that age, and I asked the question, okay, so why would I go to college and put myself in debt and have a negative net worth? And I just, and that's where I think kids need to think first is in this world that you're about to enter after leaving high school, you're going to need money. Everyone needs money. So if you can forget about what title you're going to have on earth, forget the job title, forget the industry, figure out how to make money, whatever it is. How old are y'all? I'm 26. Kirby's over there. He's about 84. He's he's somewhere in the 40s, some mid range. Um, there you go. Sell your girlfriend for money. That is an option. That is definitely something you could do. So the first question, it's gone, man. The first question people should be asking coming out of high school is, you know, questioning money itself. And that is exactly what I was thinking to myself is how can I make money? How can I skip the fact of going to college and just go for the money? So, with the access of internet, there's so many things that can show kids how to make money and make more money than the traditional way of just getting a job. So there's drop shipping, e-commerce, stocks, investments, things of that sort. And I want kids to see ways to make money other than thinking that they have to get a job and work until they're 65 years old and retire. So Kirby, before I keep going on though, do you have anything?
Yeah. I say parents should close their ears for what I gotta say. Because for the youth out there that's listening, I think that it's a lot of misinformation, a lot of generational information that they receive that is not applicable today. Um, I'm not going to pay attention to that conversation. But yeah, so that's what I think that is very important. It's a lot of, like I said, generational curses that this has been passed down. I mean, for the life of me, if a parent is still telling a kid, "Hey, you just need to save money and live off the interest," then that's about a 40-year-old prophecy that's going on. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, hell, even the 60s, you can get 5-6% on savings. Of
Mhm.
course, I know it's the high yield savings account out there now, or what have you, but the idea that you can get a high interest rate on a savings account for most things is not true. But that's something that's still being told today. I mean, of course, we know we got the SoFi's out there, the news out there. We got the allied banks out there that have a high, they're more online and have a higher yield than the regular bank. But the regular Bank of America, J.P. Morgan, things like that, it's only 1%. So that's just telling you the age of the information. And then the thing is parents are still to this day passing down that information over and over and over again, and they haven't even adjusted the shackles or even understood what's really going on in the market. And but they still telling kids, "Oh, you just gotta save, you gotta save, you gotta save." There is no way on God's green earth that you can save your way to financial freedom. If you're not buying assets, if you're not getting a higher return, then you're screwed. So those are the different avenues that kids need to understand. They need to first start questioning information received. And the reason why I said parents need to close their ears is because parents are the biggest culprits of, hey, I got to raise my kid to 18 and I just got to tell them what they do. But the thing is that parents don't even analyze or understand what the hell they're doing.
Mhm.
Like, how can you sit there? And I mean, I did it when my kid was born, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna make sure this kid have a better life than I." But then you proceed to take them down the same route that you went through. If you're not happy with your life and where you at in life, but you're guiding your kid to do more, and this is a conversation me and my mom always have. She always say, "Well, we didn't know." I mean, at first, I'll just disregard it, like, "Oh, this old lady don't know what the hell she's talking about." But then I thought, thinking about it more, like, okay, back in the 1800s, she gonna kill me for that one. But back in the 1800s, they didn't have no information out there. But the true reality is they, as time went on, and then they took the information from people before them, and then now they're in their 20s, their 30s, and they're able to think by themselves, and they're not at the position that they want to be at. Something got to click and say something has to change. And and I'm not gonna lie, that's exactly what happened to me. That was the mind shift for me. Is I looked at my cousins, I looked at my brothers, I looked at my siblings, I looked at my neighbors, I looked at my friends, I looked at the people that's around me, and then I said, they're trying to give me advice, but their advice is only limited to what they know. And when it comes to money and finances, of course, everybody, when they're young, they dream, "Oh, I want to have a lot of money." I can't take advice from them. And then so my mantra early on was, hey, whatever these people are telling me, if I do it, I'm going to end up in the same positions that they are. And I didn't want to end up in the same position they are. So I actually just watched people, and I just did the exact opposite of what they did, because what they did was go on the highway to broke real fast. And I'm just gonna take the staircase up to levels to make money, and that's what it did. And it took me time to figure it out myself, because of course now I'm on a road that nobody's been on, that I could just go reach out to, tap out to get the information. So that's really where it starts at. You got to start questioning information. And I'm not sitting here and saying talk back to your parents and stuff like that, but when you start getting information, you got to start looking at, all right, this person gave me information. How's it working out for them? What is going on in their life that make it look, look good? You know, what is going on in their life that they're like, hey, I want that. Instead of just saying, hey, I'm the mama, I'm the daddy. You just need to put your money in savings, save half your paycheck. Whatever crazy information these parents are giving. So that's the one
Yeah.
thing to the youth is, you got to question your parents. If your parents still working 40, 50 hours a week and they barely struggling, I wouldn't be taking financial advice from them. I'm just gonna put it like that.
Yeah. So Gladys asks, what kind of activities should you do to earn money while studying? Um, Geez, I chopped that up really bad. What
Yep.
what kind of activities to earning money while studying do you recommend? So Gladys is actually she's in college right now. Um, I mean, there's plenty of things that a college student can do, especially, and I know she's in a different country, but especially in the United States. Your English was not on par today. But so things you can do. Obviously, the typical one is having a job. But I mean, there's creative ways you can make money as well. You can sell things. I think arbitrage is probably the easiest way to make money. Now, I don't know how the market is over there with reselling things, but I'm sure that there is a market for it. But if a job is going to consume too much of your time in school, then another thing that I've heard of students actually doing to make money is basically helping other students cheat on their homework. I mean, look, just do it. Just do their homework for them and charge. All right.
This guy, this guy
Hey,
is terrible.
look, you gotta find all the ways.
This guy is terrible.
Like sometimes to get to the top, you gotta cheat. Nah, don't. I'm just playing. Don't do that. But yeah, you can help kids with their homework and stuff. Help teach them. There you go. She sells homework. See,
There you go. There you go.
So there you go. So that is one option. Getting a job, arbitrage. Don't know if there. I mean, there's other kids making money on like social media. You could start a social media page on being a hustler and a student at the same time. Who knows? There's so many different ways.
Right.
Online
Yeah.
classes.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, it's different avenues out there. I can speak more for the American student. I know I don't look like I'm I know people probably gonna ask, what do you know about putting kids to school? Sadly, I'm old as hell now, but I was putting kids to college when I was in my 20s, and I'm not talking about myself. Um, so that's where I get it from. But what I see a big issue or a big problem, I see parents, and I talk to parents all the time, and then they call and say their kids about to graduate high school, and then I ask what's the plan. Oh, they're going to go to some university. Of course, in America, your kid turn 18, it's whatever they want to do. But again, parents set their kids up for failure often, more often than not. But I always tell people that's going through it is going through the kids going to college aspect. You don't let kids or let minors figure their own way out through college, because for most people they already don't know nothing, especially about the financial element of it, and then you let them go figure it out on their own, and then they get themselves in a worse financial situation. For every parent, I don't give a care if you got a network of you a deck a millionaire or you looking for fast for grants. I will always say this, and this is the best way to put your kid through school. The first 2 years of college is just like the last 4 years of high school. You're just doing prerequisites. So then when you do prerequisites, you're just doing the classes. Make sure you go to a regionally accredited, not a nationally accredited, a regionally accredited smaller school, community college, whatever. That regionally accredited is accepted in most universities. Pay the lower price to get those prerequisites done. The English one, the English two, the Math 101, get all that stuff done. Why pay high university prices when you can go to your local community college and pay the cheaper prices to go? I mean, just to say, oh, I'm at this university, but you're paying 3, 4, 5 times what it'll cost you to get the same education, especially for prerequisites. And then, so once you get through your sophomore year and you pay way less, and then you want to go to a prestigious university, or you want to go to a university whatsoever, then you pivot and then take your junior and your senior year at the schools. Another thing, I'm a big proponent of no summers off. Keep pushing through. You got something, Alex?
No, no, no. Go ahead.
No, no. I'm a big proponent of no summers off. You keep pushing through. And last but not least, you should. I don't give a care if you got all the grants, scholarships there is. You should be working also while going through school to one pay for your school so you're not taking out student loan debt, but start getting you prepared for what is life after this. I mean, that's why I'm not a proponent of taking the summers off like you're still in high school. You're technically an American and adult, so get to used to that year-round grind. Maybe you don't take a full load in the summer. You take maybe a half a load, but then you're still working 10, 12 hours a day during the summer, but you keep working throughout the year and to pay off that. Because the worst thing that you can do is start your adult career and then you're already 50, 70, $200,000 in student loan debt behind the gun.
Yeah.
Because usually with a bachelor's degree, you're not going to find a job that's going to pay you, $100,000 coming out the gate to even put a dent in that student loan. And when that student loan start kicking in, you're going to feel real pain.
Yeah. And that debt is something that was just hanging over my head coming out of high school was I didn't want to get myself into debt. And I didn't have any grants or scholarships or anything like that. And so I just thought to myself of, what can I do to go ahead and just get a jump start on my financial future? And for the youth, I really just want to stress enough, like, just think about money. And I'm not saying that in the wrong way. I know a lot of youth has a lot of influence from social media on money in the wrong context and spending it on dumb things. But look at money as a way to take control over the outcome of your life. I see a lot of like students or people my age that the smallest emergency stresses them out, like a blown out tire or their car breaking down or things like this, or something comes up and they have to move out and get an apartment. They don't have money for a security deposit. Things like this. Like if you can focus on finding money or saving money in any aspect, then you'll be in a position of security. So whether that's, finding a job and then using that job to invest your earnings, invest the majority of your earnings that you can possibly, then do so. And don't be afraid also to, and I know in Venezuela, we have some people from Venezuela, but in America, um, it's not odd or awkward for students to room with, each other, So if you're all in college or something and you rent out a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment or house and you each split the rent so that you can save more money rather than one person paying for the entire rent. Or if you can live at home with your parents, I mean, that's another perfect way to save money. But find alternative ways, including, I would stress more, learn how to invest your money from work and learn ways to sell things online, whether you use eBay or learn how Shopify works or Amazon FBA, and learn how that aspect works because it can always be another income that you can tap into if needed. You know how to sell something. And these are different alternative ways that I would stress for the young crowd to look at because they can make way more money than someone that goes to college and gets a career.
Uh, Again, everything I'm gonna say, the parents probably need to close their ears because I'm talking to the youth here. Um, for the youth out there, if you have anybody, including your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, if they ever tell you do something that you love and you'll never work a day in your life, please, please run the other way. They just gave you the worst information in U.S. history. They gave you the worst information because they're setting you up to be comfortable, to do nothing your whole life. Because the only thing you're gonna do is you're gonna sit in that situation. You're gonna, oh, I love what I do, so it don't feel like work, and then life is just gonna pass you by. You want to get the highest paying job that sucked the worst, and the reason why you want it to suck the worst is because you want to be thinking every day you go in, hey, I have to do more to get the hell up out of this job. Oh, and now I'm gonna go here and do this suck ass job,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna save every dollar, and I'm gonna invest every dollar. So one day I could tell my boss who's an asshole to kiss my ass. So if somebody telling you to do something you love, and that's the best thing you should do, no, that's the worst thing you could do because you're gonna sit there and get comfortable. Life's gonna pass you by. Next thing you know, you're gonna wake up 55, 60 years old. You got three, four kids, and you're just going through life and you're repeating the cycle. You want you want to do the most uncomfortable things that pay the most amount of money so you can hurry up and find a way to get out of that situation. And the only way you can get out of the situation, because of course you're gonna have your rent, you're gonna have your car payments, is take that, buy assets, take that, buy stocks, take that, buy real estate. Take that, create a business. But don't sit there and get in something you love because it's going to lull you to sleep. And next thing you know, you're going to be sitting there hating life, and you're going to wake up, and you can wake up at 65. You don't wonder what the hell happened. And don't go to no job where you got a whole bunch of friends and all that. And it's all love. Everybody's hugging each other. It's a family. If somebody tell you the job like a family, run from that too, because everybody know most family members they ain't all they cracked up to be in the first place. Don't ever get lulled into comfort, and then you sit there and you repeating what the people before you did. Again, when you looking at advice, or when you're looking at getting something from somebody, remember, get it from people that's at places you want to be. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, your mom hates you or your dad hates you or whatever. They don't know what they don't know. They didn't choose to further their education past what their parents told them. That's on them. But always look for people that, if you want something out of life, look to get a hold of them. And don't believe this notion that, oh, they want to hold secrets or they want to gatekeep so you can't get the information. That's the furthest from the truth. They want to pass this information along because more than likely they kids just, they got a silver spoon in their mouth, so they not worried about what mom and dad's doing, or the people that have it. So start seeking out people that have what you want to get to, and they'll get you there. I remember, Alex, the first time I talked to, you know who my mentor is, when I first talked to Edward. And then at first I'm sitting there and I'm looking like, oh man, what questions? I'm writing down questions to ask, what questions to ask. And then I get him on the phone and we have a conversation. And it's the first time I asked. I said, hey, can I just get an hour of your time? And the only thing we talked about was the process. We never talked about how much money he was worth, even though I know how much he is. We never talked about all the great. Hey, you could buy this car, you could buy this house, you could live this mansion, you could live in a state like mine. It was just the process. It was just going through the process. Like, hey, yeah, keep doing this. Hey, narrow down your portfolio. Hey, do X, Y, Z. Keep going through this process. Keep looking at that. Telling me the process of how IPOs work and how to start a business and then get it to IPO on the stock market. We just talked about process. We never talked about money, like what money can do for you. We never talked about, oh, well, this is how much money you need. Never. Just the process. Once you have those processes in order, and then the more company you get, the more money you want to put in there to leverage it to make it more. But he's at a place where I want to get to. So that's why I seek out him. I'm not going to a homeless guy on the corner like, hey man, how can I make an extra $1 million? See how the seeking of information is backwards, I mean, most families that you got that rich uncle or something. Most of your family members, your mom and them, don't want you around them because, oh, he think he's better than us. But those are the people you should be seeking out, because trust me, they want to give you the information. But the problem is, most of their peers, their siblings, and things like that, just because they live a different life than they live, they already start putting it in your head. Oh, he don't want to be around us. He don't want to share information. Seek out the people you want to be like. They are more than willing to give you all the information they have, because most people don't come and reach out to them because they think that they scared to give out the information. But it's actually the inverse. They love giving it out.
Yeah, another thing that I think the youth should be trying to do is get information because they're so young. They are not familiar with different things in the finance world, and I think that goes for honestly most people, not just the youth. But since you are young, try to get as much information as you can so that when you come out of high school, you know what direction to go into. So, one thing you can do, like Kirby said, if you know any family member that is doing things differently, that is successful, that has a business, that invests in anything, even if you want to do what that person is doing or not, just ask questions. Ask them how they started, ask them what their mindset was that got them into that, why they wanted to do that. Learn about the industry they're in. Even if you're not going to do it, I guarantee you can use some bits and pieces down the road in something else that you do want to do. So, learn as much information as possible. If you have any friends that have parents or an uncle or anything that they're successful, ask them. Don't be afraid to communicate with people and just ask questions, because like Kirby said, most people, they do want to share. that knowledge. Most people that are successful, they want to share that with people that are interested. So don't be afraid to get information. There's plenty of information online. One really good channel I think is called the School of Hard Knocks. It's basically like a 22-year-old kid. He goes around to major cities, New York, Miami, LA, and he asks different people that are just wandering around in like wealthier parts of the cities, what do they do? And he gets a quick interview with them. But each interview, even though it's only a minute, 2 minutes long, shares a lot of insight on what it took to become successful.
Yeah, and if you look at the Alex, let me know if there's any questions out there. Any
Nothing yet.
questions? Okay. Please ask questions. We just sitting here having a conversation, so ask as many questions as you like. Um, Dang, y'all made me lose my thought. Talking about damn questions. But yeah, so yeah, the thing is the process. The process is and like you said, it don't have to correlate to that actual business that you want to get into. So
Right.
I don't give a care if you don't ever want to deal in real estate at all. I would still talk to people in real estate to talk about the process. Is how do you get from zero to 100,000? How do you get from zero? I mean, 100,000 to a million? The process is the same. It's just taking out real estate and putting in business, taking out business and maybe putting in lawyer, taking out one thing and putting in something else. But the process, the grind, because that's the thing. People usually see successful people once they're already successful. Like we always talk about Jeff Bezos. Nobody gave a damn who Bezos was when he was sitting in his garage flipping books. Nobody cared who he was. But then now everybody know who he is because now he's over there, $100 billion man. So the thing that takes them, the thing that takes them from that zero to that 100K, that zero to that million, that's the key element that you want to know. Just the process, just the process. The more you get familiar with that process, the more you get comfortable with that process. Just like when you start talking about investing, the first thing people want to know is where can I put the lowest amount of money in? So you start putting, $50 a month, $50 a month, but then you start getting more knowledgeable. And that was me, $50 a month. You start getting more knowledgeable. You understand the market. You understand what companies is. You understand what ROI is. You understand what uh, debt to equity is. And then next thing you know, that 50 goes to 100. The 100 goes to 200. Now you're putting in thousands at a time because you're more comfortable with the process of how the dynamics, the mechanics of the stock market works up and down, and you're willing to do it again. I mean, Alex, I think your first property, well, you're like even in real estate, you first start looking at the smallest deal you can in case, hey, it messes up. Then all right, I didn't lose as much money, and then now you start looking. Oh, let me go add another zero to that deal. Let me go add another zero to that deal. So
Yep.
now I'm now instead of doing single families, now I'm at 3, 4, 5, 6 units. See what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
but it comes with the comfort of going through the process. Once you have the comfort of going through the process, then the more boldness and the more you're willing to uh, eliminate putting capital on frivolous things and start putting it more where the money is being made.
Yeah, exactly. So someone asked, how do I get from 0 to 100,000? What was your process?
My process 0 to 100,000. I was actually just saying it. What I did was I started with $50 a month. $50 a month, and I was putting it in, and it was a terrible mutual fund. I mean, this thing was awful. I think this was like the USAA first time investor fund. Return on investment was like 2% or something like that. It was terrible. But the thing but that
Jeez.
was enough risk. That $50 a month was enough risk for me to be like, all right. And then at that time, $50 that was a little bit all the excess money I had. So I would put it in there, but then I'm just sitting there studying what mutual funds are, what expense ratios are, what stocks are invested into it. And then I'm starting to study and get more. So I'm 50, 50, 50. And then I pivoted to like a USA S&P 500 fund. And then so now it's more of the companies that I recognize. We got the Googles in there. We got the Nvidias, different stuff like that. The Amazons, yada yada. And then so I start putting more and more. And then people first mindset is, okay, I wait till the stock goes up and then it's going up. So now I'm more confident. So putting it in. And then I'm only thing I'm thinking when the stock is going up, this is around 2009 ish or whatever. The stock is going up. I'm thinking like, man, the same conversation we have now. Man, if I had more money in there, that'd be great. I could make a lot more money. And then that's when I start thinking, okay, when the market's down, I have to put a lot more money in there. So then I got more bolder because during 2009, of course, that was the bottom end of the market, but it still was the bull run. Then it'll be a bear trap or whatever. It'll rally up, come down, rally up, come down. So I was only searching for down days so I could get as many shares as I can. And then that $50, of course, it went to 100, then went to 200. Now it's thousands of dollars at a time, and I'm just sitting there just putting in. It's because my confidence in the mechanics of how the market works. Not that I'm not rushing to. And Alex, you know, and I say it all the time on the channel. I am not happy when the market goes up, and I'm not putting money in the market when the market goes up. I search and pray for down days so I can get as many shares as I can at the cheapest price, and that's how I got from 0 to 100K just with mutual funds, just and then doing that bad trade on Sponge Tech. That was terrible. But it took a little longer to get there. But that's what it was. It was just mutual.
Yeah, I think so for mine. And I wonder if it's specific to net worth or just like 100 grand cash. I think getting $100,000 cash is a lot more difficult than net worth. That took me longer getting 100,000 in liquid. Net worth, I mean, that can come from like equity in different avenues, but 0 to 100K, I think it's just a matter of spending. I mean, living on less than you make, not having very minimal, if not any, consumer debt payments, and continuously contributing to your investments every single month.
Yeah. What's that question? I don't
I
understand.
have a house, but I got a 94. Gonna sell it as is, as it figured out. Can you help me out? What should I do?
I'm not
I
understanding.
don't know what that means.
Can you read the next one?
Any tips on raising children to have an inquiring mind as they get older? How do I help them stay curious, persistent, independent, etc.? As I think this sets the foundation.
Alex, your day is coming up, Alex.
Hey
What you
man,
what
look,
you
I
think?
haven't raised kids yet. This is you. Tips on raising children have an inquiring mind. I don't know. I haven't had a kid yet. I'm about to. I would think that it's introducing your kid to just like different parts of life, like how you do with your son with MMA, travel, taking him outside during a hurricane, like not being afraid of life. So constantly putting your kid out there and to not be afraid, like encourage your kid to go speak to someone that they're maybe afraid of speaking to, or go partake in a certain event or things like that. Not just sit back on an iPad and not know anything about the world. That would be me.
Right. Yeah. And oh, it is coming soon. Yeah, it's coming soon. He gonna be over there stressed the hell out. But yeah, I mean, it's different thing. I mean, do I know my plan will work 100%? Hell no. I just again doing something different. Just trying
Yeah.
to do something different that I haven't seen done before. You know, I don't want to get it caught in the cycle of repeating history. That's the one thing that I don't want to do. I just don't want to get caught in the cycle of repeating history of seeing the same results come out. I mean, I still remember when that big head kid came out, and I said, I want him to have a better life than I had. I I didn't say it. I said it to myself more than I was saying it to him. And you can lie to everybody else, but if you start lying to yourself, then it's a problem. So me, I'm holding myself accountable to make that happen. And when I say I want him to have a better life, I'm not saying that, oh, just because I couldn't have Jordans when I grew up, I want him to have Jordans. It's not the stuff that I want him to have that I didn't have. The stuff that stuff don't matter because he never went through the grind and not having it. Can you hear me still?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. He didn't go through the grind and not having it. He didn't grow up in the hood where everybody was broke, but the only way you could show that you had more money was to convince your parents to buy you some name brand shoes that they probably couldn't afford either. So I don't care about the name brand and all that other stuff and making sure my kid has that stuff. But what I want is I want to teach him the stuff that I was never taught. I want him to have that baseline of understanding way higher than I ever did that I didn't get till I was, in my late 20s. So if I can instill that knowledge in him and he could take off from there at a younger age, it'll set up a better situation for him in a longer run. So that's really what I go for.
Okay, so the person's question was they have a house, they purchased it in 1994. They want to sell it as is. Any suggestions?
I got a couple of suggestions. It's up to you. I don't know if the house is paid off or not. We got a couple avenues. If the house is paid off, you can take it seller finance, but you probably want all the money up front. But if you don't want a big tax obligation, then I would do seller finance because even with the depreciation write off that you had while you had the house, it will recapture it on a sale. I don't know what your plans is after you sell the house. Do you plan on buying another one? If that's the case, um, and I don't know if you live in the house. If you live in the house, you don't have to worry about that tax obligation. But also, I mean, you got 1031 if it's like a rental or if it's a extra house, a second home or something like that. You could 1031 and go to another property without having that tax obligation. Um, but it's different avenues you can go out there. You can reach out to a wholesaler. You can reach out to a wholesaler. You want to sell it as is. You sell it to a wholesaler. They will take it, do a contract with you, and then they will pass it off to a flipper. Would you get max dollar for it using a wholesaler? Probably not. Would you get a better deal? Probably seller financing if the house is paid off. You might get a better deal as far as price wise, but it may take you. You'll get it in payments. You can structure that deal however you want to if you have that paid off. So those are just a couple of things out there. I don't know if you still have a loan on it. 94. That's over 30 years. So if you still got a loan on it and the interest rate is low, you can well no well you could do an assumption, but you want to sell it as is. So those are just different things out there. Or reach out to some local investor in your area and try to offload the property there. I mean, without more particulars on the property and what you're trying to do with it, those are just different avenues that I would use to get out of that property.
All right, the next question is with the current market, if you had 20,000 to invest, would you put it all in one ETF or stock, or would you spread it?
Oh, well, you asking me? I'm one. I'm putting it
Yeah.
all in. Because this is the thing. I don't want to spread my money too thin. And what I mean by that is, so let's take this 20,000, and let's say you get 10 stocks. So that's 2,000 a stock, right? Let's say out of the 10 stocks, you have four that go down, four that do nothing, and then you have two that goes up 100%. So you're still even. You're still even. Let's say it goes up 100%. You got $2,000 in there, $4,000 in there. So you made $4,000 there. The other four stocks, the five stocks that went down, you probably lost a couple thousand there. And then the stocks that didn't do nothing. So you still even. So I would rather sit there, do my homework, figure out one, maybe two, but more one of a stock or ETF and just play the market, and then I will put as much money there. So if I'm in an ETF or stock after I did my homework, did the work, and it goes up 100%, now that's $20,000 instead of just sitting there trying to play it safe and just get a whole bunch of stocks. Then you're just gonna be sitting there for a long time because you're gonna have the ups and downs. And let's be honest, 10 stocks, you can't look at the 10Ks, you can't understand the financials, you can't look at the all of the earnings reports, listen to the conference calls and all that, and still work a 9 to 5 job. I don't know if you're working or not, but work a 9 to 5 job and understand what each company do. So it's best to consolidate it down, keep your money loaded and stacked in to one or two stocks or ETFs, and then you keep plowing your money there because when you get 100% return, then that return will be way bigger than trying to spread it out all over the place, and then you you get little or no results. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that we see in the stock market, and especially with all these financial planners, is they always talking about diversification, 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 and yeah, diversification will help you not lose money, but it damn sure won't
Yeah. Next question is, what are some of the most common financial mistakes people make? Spending more than they have and spending money on stupid stuff.
make. Yeah, I mean it's a many of financial mistakes people make. Uh, oh, of course, keeping up with the Joneses is that's that one's known since the beginning of time. Everybody still want to impress. And again, I say this all the time. When you're keeping up with the Joneses is one thing, but then the ones that get me is you go buy a car or buy something, then you go drive back to the hood to show everybody you driving a car. Yeah, you're driving back to the hood. They don't have no money. So what you saying? You made it? No, you're not really not saying nothing. You're really just saying, hey, because for them it's gonna look like you made it, but to me it looked like, oh, you just now you got $1,000 car payment that you're probably gonna lose in a couple of years because you're gonna lose your job, and then now you're stressed out in other areas of your life because of course you didn't get a car that just that fits within your budget. You got a car that pushed to the limit of your budget. One thing goes wrong, tire get blown out, you get in an accident, you can't afford a deductible, then you screwed. You see it all the time. So those are different things. People living up to their limits. I mean, people living up to their limits on their paycheck. I don't know why somebody will get promotions. They go 4 or 5 promotions. They were struggling when they was entry level employee. They get 4 or 5 promotions. They done moved and got a new car for each promotion, and then they still struggling when they sitting there at middle management level. So what the hell was you doing? So you just increase your lifestyle every time. You increase your lifestyle up to the limit every time that you got a promotion. That's one of the huge things I see in corporate America all the time. Alex, what you got?
Yeah, I think it's just spending money on just dumb stuff, not focusing on your future. I think that's the biggest thing that holds people back from being able to retire early and like actually retire early, not 59, like 40. Um, Being able to live the life that you want and get to experience life or to the fullest. People just spend money on stuff like you had mentioned.
Yeah, and
Um,
you got something else? Okay.
yeah, I'm trying to think of more. I would say not educating themselves, not asking enough questions, not taking risk. There's so many things that people could do that would better their life.
Yeah, and one financial mistake is I always say question information received. Asking why is not question information received. Why is not, and I hear it all the time. Well, why? 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 Question information received is you hear something, you don't know what the hell it is. Instead of just saying why, you go look it up and study what it is, and then come back with a counter argument, not just why. And I always see that. I'll talk about uh, cutting federal employees and things like that. And people, only thing they got is why. All right, well, why don't you go look at the history of federal employees getting cut? I mean, this administration is not the first administration that cut federal employees. I mean, if you go back, you old enough, but a quick Google search will show you that the Clinton administration cut over 200,000 federal employees. Did he do it the same way that this administration doing it? No. But has it been done before? This is not a new thing that's out there. But actually do research and question, have a counter argument. Actually read to figure things out instead of just why. You want me to tell you my argument and give you an argument that help your cause too. Do the damn work. And most people are too lazy to do the work. That's why they never get the full picture of what's going on. And I'm talking about finance, politics, religion, the whole nine. It's just that's one of the things that hold them back. He said his house is, I think this is he. I'm sorry. Linden.
Paid off.
The house, yeah, the it's paid off. All you pay is taxes. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would sell a finance. I would look for a wholesaler to unload the property. You selling the ideas, so whoever buy the house, they can't get an FHA loan. They probably won't get a conventional loan. They could probably get a bridge debt loan or something like that, or construction loan that fix up the property. But those are the two avenues that you can go, depending on if you need all the money in a lump sum or if you're willing to take a down payment and take monthly payments. That way you can sell or finance it, and probably that's probably where you get the most money at. And then with that, I would do it. I mean, just me. If I was seller financing something like that, I would do, hey, 20% down, whatever, 5 year or 3 year, 3 to 5 year balloon, and then we amortize it over 30 years so they can have low monthly payments, but then they owe you a balloon of the balance in 3 years or 5 years. And that will help them out, let them have time to fix up the property, get it on the market, probably refi out, get your money to pay you off so they can take the property, or they can sell the property, and then he can give you the money that y'all already agreed on, and he can take the profit. He or she, whoever the investor is, can take the profit and move on from there. So, but yes, I think seller finance will get you the most money, but the quickest way I think would be finding a wholesaler to offload that
Sydney said, not staying persistent, taking no for an answer when looking for help. I think that was
property. Issues.
along
I
with
mean,
financial
yeah,
mistakes. Yeah.
taking no for an answer when looking for help. Um, yeah, I mean, taking taking the word no for an answer. That's, I mean, that's one parents we always do. Kids ask us a question. The first thing is no. We ain't got we ain't got nothing else after that. Watch Alex. He already planning on using that one. No, yeah. So that's where we indoctrinate our kids into that mindset also. So as soon as they ask questions, they get in the real world and they hear no, they go, okay, let me shut down like I gotta do with my parents. I mean, I'll say, for me, I always tell my kid to take action. So whatever I say, you do the action. Now you come back and now question everything that I said, and we can have a conversation about it. But that's something that parents, we indoctrinate our kids in early on, is no, 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 and then they get used to it. Then when they get into the real world, they're scared to go look somebody in the eye. They're scared to have a conversation, or when they say no, only thing they can say is why. They have no skills in coming back to have a counter argument to the argument, because their whole life for 18 years, when they were living in the asylum of your parenthood, that you was not able to question anything. And so we set them up that way also.
How can we make financial plans for our children? Um, Set up a custodian account, make contributions since day one, living trust, or how do you make a financial plan for your children? Kirby, what are some of the things you did when your son was born?
Well, yeah, I set up the custodial account for them, and I've been putting money in there. Now, y'all know, y'all see my tax jar, so I'm getting my money back from them. You see that jar right there? I I tax them all the time, y'all. I gotta get my money back. I can't be. But yeah, so I tax the hell out of them. But yeah, so I set up the custodial account, been putting money in there the whole time. You know, playing it. I mean, I'm more aggressive with him because he's younger. He got more time. Uh, invest him in the QQQs the whole way, and that's one. But financial plan. I like the name. It sounds fun, fancy, and it sounds like something. But the true reality, the way that you make sure your kid is on the right path when it comes to finances, is be a representative of what you want them to be. So you can't sit here getting paid on Friday, blowing your money on the weekend, but then come back and tell your kid, "Oh yeah, you need to save your money." You have to be that example. That's the best financial plan there is. Like I'm gonna throw my in-laws up under the bus. My wife cheap, not because her family told her to be cheap, but because they live that life. They live the, hey, making money is a hard process, so we're not just gonna spend it frivolously just because the money's there.
Absolutely.
They was the example that they wanted her to be. Now you can't pinch a nickel out of her. But anyway, but that's what it is. They was the example. So that's the thing that parents, especially in America, we don't want to be. We want to say, "Hey, I told them what to do," but you wasn't that example. You have to be that example. That is the best financial plan. If your kids see you wake up every day, go to work, come in, and be like, "All right, I ain't spending money. This is why I'm not spending money." Explain it. Like, okay, we can go do this one activity, but we can't go do all these activities. I don't give a care how much I got paid. I don't care what your friends doing, things like that. Oh yeah, I see that. All right, so but yeah, so y'all stay out of the comment section because y'all. I'm messing up Alex. But anyway, but those are the different things that's out there. Is you have to set that example to be what you want your kid to be. All this I told you so, I told them what to do. All that shit is over. That's done. Then over with. That's what the parents before me and the parents before them said. And as soon as they see their kid, as soon as they see their kid doing the exact same thing they did, and they don't have nothing, then it's, oh man, I told them. Be the example that you want. All right, what you laughing at, Alex?
And it said Kirby got a life insurance on his kid and plotting the best time to strike.
I'll give my money back, man. I'll give my money back. I ain't. Yeah, yeah. I'll give my money back. But that's what it is. When people look at, especially us Americans, look at immigrants coming to this country and then wonder, oh, how the hell is they superseding us and getting more access and doing things better and quicker and faster than us? It's because they've been living the example. Shoot, everybody, Americans, they think, oh well, they ain't got no money. How are they doing that? They thinking, oh, it's because the government did this, the government did. No, they understand the value of money. They're giving up their time to make a dollar. So I'm not about to give up my time just to go blow it on the next latest and greatest thing that's gonna be out of style in the next 6 months. But us as parents, we're indoctrinating our kids into the same lifestyle that we had, and the cycle continues and it continues and it continues. And then you wake up, now you ain't got nothing. Now you need a couch to go sleep on. And then you looking at your kids like, hey, can I stay at your house? Hey, why you ain't got nothing? Because you didn't show them nothing. And they recycle the same life that you showed them. And I mean, I'm just looking at my family. I see it all the time. I see my cousins doing the same thing that my aunts and uncles did, that they parents before them did, and it's nothing, 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 because it's just been the same cycle of nothing. But nobody wanted to be example. Nobody wanted to sit their ass down and put some money away and actually do something. And but they wanted to just tell people what to do and not show them what to do. All right,
Someone
what
said,
else we got?
someone said, when or if you sell your rental properties, what's the catalyst to make you do so?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Alex, you want to answer that one before I take up all the time?
I don't plan on selling. My catalyst would probably be like I got kidnapped and I need ransom money, and then I'd call Kirby and then he'd try to sell or finance the deal, and, then then the worst would come to light. Um, a catalyst for us would probably be something extreme or just like the market's not working out. Like I know Kirby, luckily now you were able to work it out and get it better. But the properties in Oklahoma that you had, I
Mhm.
remember you saying like, if this market just doesn't work out, I'm gonna have to exit. Same thing. Like if I was in a market and then like property management companies went under and like I had nobody up there, like I'd probably get rid of them too at that point. But it would have to be something major.
Oh, for me, it's a couple things. Like if I have a condo and I have two condos, I would look to exit. Well, I haven't exited them yet, but I will look to get out of those. But the only catalyst for me, if I'm moving up meaning like let's say I got two rental properties here that's doing, maybe doing $1,000 a month of cash flow, but I can offload them and do a 1031 exchange and then go buy, take the profits from there and then go buy, a 5, a 10, 18 unit apartment complex that'll give me more money based off the asset. So that's one way I will offload a property. Another one is age of property. So if I just wanted to move up to newer, so like let's say I've had a property, 10, 15 years, it's getting a little dated. The market's getting not say shaky all the way, but then I can just go take the profits that I have from that, get, some kind of the same kind of return I can get in a newer development or something like that. I would do that then. But besides that, I don't plan just to sell at all because of course one reason sale I won't, I don't want to deal with the tax obligation. If I do a 1031, then I have to sell it and then buy another property so I don't have to deal with the tax obligation. And then, but if I just need it for excess of capital, I will go to refinance it. I'll refinance and take cash out because there's no tax on refinance
I'm
money
dead.
or borrow money. So those are the only, but those two that I mentioned before is the only way that I would exit out of a rental property.
Someone said, "How do you handle outside forces pushing the typical narrative? Name brands, buy junk, fit in."
Alex, go ahead. You can take that one first.
Um, so on that last part where you said buy junk, fit in, I'm assuming this is like the narrative to like go ahead and consume and go shopping and stuff. Um,
They talking about everything the news media say every day, all day.
yeah, man. Name brands, buy junk. I don't know. I've never been a shopper. I don't know. I can't. Kirby, you got to help me with this one because you're the one that likes to buy things, not me.
You see
So.
this? You see this? You try to throw me up under the bus for no damn reason. But
Yeah.
no, I was a spender. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I was a spender. I mean, there's some people out here that probably remember me from the malls in Killeen. I was up there. I was up there every weekend. I was buying everything. But the way to keep me out of outside forces or keep your kids. How do you handle outside forces pushing the
Outside.
typical narrative?
I think
Uh,
family.
well, so like let's say my family they wouldn't they always trying to push a narrative that I should do it, but the thing is
Kids. Yeah.
kids when kids you chop those kids in the throat, man. You ain't got to listen to me, Terry. But no, but the kids, it's the thing. It's again, be that example. You can't be walking around in the latest and greatest, and then want to sit here and tell your kids, "Oh no, you shouldn't have." You can't do it. You just can't do it. Like this is no lie. This is no lie. And my father-in-law, I'm gonna say he get pissed off, but I don't care. We still do it. All right, so when me and my son go out to eat, and my father-in-law here, my mother-in-law here, now they get dressed up to the nines. I'm not gonna lie, they get dressed up to the nines. We come out looking like this with Crocs on. My son probably got on some crazy hoodie, and we just because I don't want my son to be in that name brand elk. So I just feel like, and then so we'll go to these restaurants, and some of them they be high end, and then father-in-law just looking at us like y'all looking like total bums. And then I just say, well, the only thing they care if we pay the bill. But my son, still today, my son, he don't look at fashion and all that stuff like it's a big thing. He don't look to say, oh, I gotta have one of these. Oh, wait, let me make sure I got my hair cut. I got my headband on. I got my Jordans on. We don't do it because. But I'm an example. Now I was the guy with 60, 70 pairs of shoes. I was a guy who had jeans and all this stuff. But I got rid of all of it because again, I want to be the example that my kid follow. Because if I got closet full of shoes, then my kids gonna want a closet full of shoes. If I got closet full of clothes, my kids gonna want a closet full of clothes. So they're they only know what you show them. Only thing your kids are is a mirror of you. So if you wonder why, and I'm not just talking to Sin who sent this, I'm talking to all parents. If you wonder why your kids do something when it comes to materialistic, look at you. I mean, most parents will be like, "Oh, I ain't bought nothing since the '80s," but you still have it. They don't know the difference. That's
Right.
what it is. But my father-in-law, he a cool dude, but it's still funny every time he look at me like, dude, you just come out looking homeless as hell every time. Like, hey man, this is how I roll.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. But that's what it is. That's I think that's a huge part for parents. They gotta understand you gotta be the example that you want your kids to be. You can't sit there and play the game of hey, I'm just gonna tell them what to do, and then it's gonna work out in their favor. I mean, just think that's what your parents told you. How did it work out for you?
Right.
I mean, my grandparents, great grands, they didn't have no money, but they always said, "Oh, you need to save." How many of my aunts, uncles, and parents listen? None. They replicated the same thing. You can't sit there and dictate your way. And the last thing I got, Alex, and this is something that people are gonna be mad about, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Is people get parenting confused. And what I mean by that, and no, I'm not sitting here as some parent expert or something like that, but zero from birth to 18 years old, you are not a parent. All you is a prison guard inside a prison. That's all. Because the kid is 100% dependent on you for life. Everything, food, substance, shelter. So they have to do what you want them to do. You, your day of parenting comes when your kid can leave and they can make any decision you want, and you have to guide them through life. So, me growing up, I always heard the parents, "Oh, I'm just trying to get them to 18." They don't know nothing. Only thing they know is what you told them to do because they trying to survive. Now, when they turn 18 and now they can make their own decisions, now you have to parent, guide, mentor them through life. But that's when the parent be like, "Oh, I'm done. He already 18." But then you wonder why they don't know nothing, why they don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody always say, "Oh, you have a kid that's 18 years worth of problem." No, it's lifetime. It's lifetime. Because I mean, and the thing is like, so my son, my oldest son, he's 23. Divine, don't kill me if I got your age wrong. I mean, he's savage, just getting older every day. 20. Wait, what year is this? 25. Oh yeah, he getting up there. Yeah. So I'm bad, my bad. But yeah, so I forget what year it is. All right. So yeah, so he's up there, and then of course, so when I call him, I still say, "Hey baby, what's up?" Oh, of course he hated, but I don't care. I'm still gonna do it. All right. And then, but we have conversations, and I'm still like, "Hey, well, you need to look at this, do this." Most kids these days, they looking at the fact, "Man, you grown, you can do whatever you want to do." Yeah, he can do what he want to do, but why the hell he want to do something that, if I'm telling him something, it ain't. I'm not getting gratification from him no more. It's not. Oh, Devon go buy a house. Hey, look what I did for my son. It's, I'm holding to the same promise I said at birth. I want to ensure that he has a better life than I have. I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, well, go ahead, do whatever you want to do. You grown now, go figure it out." I'm just upholding the promise. And I know to some people that it rubs them the wrong way. Maybe it's friends, that, "Oh man, your father." But I'm not telling them what to do. Now, do we have hard conversations? Do I yell sometimes? Yeah. But he know it's coming from, because I want the best for him. I want him to be the best representation, of course, for my name, but the best representation for the people that he has to take care of. He has a wife and kids. I want him to be the best representation as a father, as a husband. That's it. And then I want him to spoil the hell out of his daughter, my grandchild. But besides that, that's my only goal. Now she can have whatever she wants, but he can't. But that's really what it is. But parents just look at, "Oh, you're 18, go ahead. Go ahead." Then they look up, they in jail, they sitting here, "Hey mom, can you help me pay rent? Can I go to rooms to go, and I can get this I'll get this sofa on payments for the next 20 years, no interest." Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? Parenting is a lifetime thing, and I hope more parents start realizing that after this video. But be a representation of what you want your kids to be. That's what I leave them with. Alex, what you got?
Yeah, we'll wrap it up there. I mean, to leave it off of that, I mean, also for parents, don't be discouraged if your kids don't want to go to college. There's plenty of ways for,
You could wait to say that one.
yeah, for real, man. There's so many ways. I mean, it's just crazy. Like having come out of high school, I'm now. I mean, I'm making more money than the kids I went to school with that went through college and graduated. Way more money. And so I think college nowadays is just, I mean, it's not terrible to go through college. It's just it's not the only way to become successful. And there's more information out there that kids can learn from on YouTube, on social media, Instagram, Facebook. There's so many pages and platforms kids can learn how to invest, how to sell online, how to start a business. There's so much. I am 26. Can you give a quick rundown of your
He
journey?
old. He old as hell.
Yeah, I'm getting old. Yeah, I get night terrors of the last days of my life. Um, so so coming out of high school, I'll just try to make it quick because we're going pretty long here. Coming out of high school, so I had that fear. I don't want to go into debt. I don't want to go into college. I don't want to go into college. I don't want to go into debt. I don't want to go into college. I don't want to go into debt. I don't want to go into college. 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 I don't I don't want to be broke. I don't want to work. My biggest fear was I don't want to work for the rest of my life. That was like I literally that scared like the hell out of me. So I was already selling on eBay from age like 16. And I saw that there was a way to make money aside from having a job. Graduated. I wanted to pursue that. I was still living at home. My mom wanted me to work a job because she said you need stability. I went ahead, I got a job. I still sold online, but I wanted to find more ways to make money. And I saw on social media that there were stock traders making money. Timothy Sykes was like the biggest one at the time. And at work, there was a guy that was like, "Yeah, I got this one boy. He making all the money." So that boy was Kirby. So he's a stock trader. And I was just trying to get to meet someone that was successful in doing something different. One of my managers at work, he was doing something different. Almost had his house paid off, had a built up 401k, had no debt. So like I was listening to him and taking advice from him, but then I wanted to meet someone that like had total freedom. And I had another friend at the time who now has a very successful business in the military surplus space. But I wanted to meet more people, get different ideas. Eventually, I met Kirby. The aspect of investing really interested me, and met Kirby at 21, and I just listened to everything he said and applied it. So, and then from there, 21 to now, it was just like doing going through Kirby boot camp, and we're still not graduated yet. So,
Ain't no graduation, ain't no
yes,
ceremony. I ain't
yes,
paying for that.
yeah,
I ain't paying for the ceremony. But no,
yeah,
and Alex, of course, parents are listening to this and they be like, "Well, you never went to school, so it's easy for you not to say go to college." I went to college. I got a degree and all that other crazy stuff that people do. I agree with you. My son, like I said, he's 23. When he was going to that age or whatever to go to college, he was going to play football. Of course, life happens. He took a different route, but I've never been the one to say, "Oh, you have to go to school." Matter of fact, when it was time for him to go to school, I said, "Hey, why don't you go get the skills, the trades, and go get certificates?" Those skills, trades, and certificates got him the job that he has now. That more than enough take care of him and his family. And then now he just doing going to school again just to get more certificates and stuff like that. But the whole notion of, hey, go to school, and for most people they don't have the means and opportunities that my son has to go to school and don't have to pay for it. But going there, setting yourself up 50, 60, 70, 80,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, putting you behind the eight ball. And like Alex, you said, you got friends right now that went to college and you didn't take the college route. Now they're out of college. Some schools paid for, some got a lot of student debt, but they're not making nowhere near as amount of money as you make. So
yeah,
you got a 4 or 5 year head start on life than they do, and they just starting to figure out the work system and what to do. And then now, but the difference between you and them is they have to spend most of their money paying back those student loans. You just out here just you just out here just doing your thing, having kids and all that other great
yeah.
stuff.
My wife's gonna kill me because I left her out of my quick rundown on my journey. So yeah, meeting my wife, guys, that was the big part to why I'm successful today.
That that
Finding
was
finding a partner that believes in what you do and will equally make the sacrifices. Yeah, I was about to die there.
yeah. I just seen
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
just
I
seen
was
it.
like, yeah. Yes, finding a partner that equally makes sacrifices, but equally makes sacrifices, not someone that's just a cheerleader. You got to find somebody that's willing to live broke with you and act broke for years. So, yeah,
Yeah, no,
shout out
yeah,
to my
yeah.
wife.
Alex Wife is the best. She
Yeah,
is the best because
yeah,
I don't know how she deal with it. But yeah, but that takes me to another point. We already over, so I'm just gonna keep talking. It just be real quick, and that's something that I don't understand. Uh,
yeah.
but that's something that I say all the time, and that's having a spouse that's in the same platform as you, or on the same road that you are on, or have the same goals. I mean, they y'all have different goals, but y'all trying to get to the same place. That is huge. That is the life hack of all life hack. And one thing I don't understand is when I sit here and talk to married couples, and then they say, "Well, it's always the other partner. It's never them." Me, I'm probably the only one that admit that I was the one that was messing up the finances. But it's always the other partner. And then they say, "Oh no, they won't do this, they won't do that." How on God's green earth? And Alex, you was interrogating your wife on the first date, but I don't understand how on God's green earth you didn't know that the person was like that before you got married. I
Right.
mean, so the conversation of finances didn't come up. The conversation of goals didn't come up. The conversation of where you want to be in 3 to 5, 7, 10 years, that didn't come up. And then, but I see it more often than I think I should. I mean, I'll admit, I tricked my wife. I made her think that I had all my stuff together, but I didn't. But then I finally got it together. But for the most part, success leaves clues, but failure leaves clues also. I mean, when I married my wife, I did have a job. Uh, I did. I was still paying bills. I had money left over, but I wasn't prepared for when I left the military. I'm just gonna be honest. I wasn't prepared at all. But for most people, they know exactly who that person is before they go run down the aisle. They so in love, but they forgetting the hack that you just said, that the spouse is the biggest life hack, especially if you got goals, because that person is only going to do one thing. Your spouse can only add, subtract, divide, or multiply. So if they're not adding and multiplying, I don't even know how the hell they even get in spousal conversations. But we have it more often than not, and that's why finance is the number one reason for divorce in the United States.
We'll close it there, guys. Stay tuned for the next Saturday. If you guys have any like topic ideas, send them to Kirby or to me, so we know if there's anything specifically you guys want us to talk about on the next live. But
Or put
until
them in the comment section.
yeah, or
Not
put
the
them in the
live,
comment
not
section.
the live chat. Put them in the comment section of this video, and we'll get it in.
Yeah, we'll post this video. You guys can leave it there. So, but all right, guys, we'll see you.